Have you thought about to earn some money from renting a place, then rent it out to other people?
Is it even legal to do so?
Would it be a good idea to do so?
What should I beware of when I want to rent out my rental place to other people?
Now, this is called subletting. What's up everybody, welcome to VC, where we talk about real estate, business and mindset. My name is Vincent.
And I'm Chloe. So most of us have heard about renting a place, then renting it out to other people, right? So the term is actually called subletting.
Subletting means that renting out a property by a tenant to the other tenant. So imagine today you are renting this unit from the landlord about like 1,000 ringgit. Then you rent it out to tenant A, for example, for 1,400 ringgit. So your profit will be 400 ringgit.
Subletting also means that you're actually generating a rental profit without actually owning the property yourself, known as the subleasing or maybe rent to rent.
There are actually two types of subletting. The first one will be subletting the whole house. It's the same example that we mentioned just now, where we rent the house from a landlord with a certain price, then rent the whole unit out to somebody else with a profit, whether this is furnished or partially furnished.
The second type of subletting is subletting rooms. Let's say you rent a 3-bedroom condo, you choose to stay in the master bedroom and then rent out the other 2 rooms of the unit. In this case, you as the original tenant will essentially become the landlord to the subtenants, whether you choose to live in that unit or not.
Probably some of you would actually question, is there a market for sublets? Well, actually there is, a lot actually.
Yep, places near to working areas, colleges or universities, there are a high demand there. Here are some reasons why people choose to stay in sublet property.
Now, firstly would be the affordability. Renting a room is way much cheaper than renting an entire house, obviously. Especially like somewhere area, you can see room rentals literally everywhere. This is because these students are just there to study. They don't technically need a whole house, especially for those who move in by themselves from other places just to study. It's the budget friendly for those who have a tight budget but do not wish to spend a lot of money to get a studio unit, as a studio unit may comes even more expensive than usual room rental.
The second reason why people choose to stay in a sublet property is because of a short-term rental. If a person is expecting to stay in the area for only a short period of time, going for a sublet property may be the solution, especially for those units who do not require a long period of rent. It's usually hard to find a short-term stay for a normal lease unless you're staying in Airbnbs, which charge per night.
Yep, the next reason will be the flexibility. There are actually people who choose to live in a sublet property just to learn more about neighborhoods, area of the building itself before signing a long-term lease or even purchasing a new house. So the flexibility allows a tenant to freely change one home or another room without having to worry about committing into a house loan.
Yes, exactly. After knowing why people would choose to rent sublet properties or rooms, what are the pros and cons of you doing subletting? There are actually many considerations to take into when you want to sublet your house.
Now, the first advantage would be, of course, you can earn supplementary income from the rental money. Thus, if you're renting the house for 1,000 ringgit, then you sublet it to like 1,400 ringgit to gain a profit for 400 ringgit.
Another benefit of subletting is when you're planning to take a vacation, like taking a vacation to Europe for 6 months. Whatever situation it is, you're probably gonna leave behind the comfort of your rental home for an extended period of time, not permanently. Therefore, subletting is the perfect way to make certain that you have a home to come home to, and you won't have to worry about the lease term or move-out dates. Plus, you're not paying for the rent without even living in that place for a period of time because your tenant will be paying it for you.
Yep, like we say just now, the other benefit will be someone else can pay for your rent while you're gone. So that's a good benefit.
Yep, not only that, but you will have someone in the house to take care of it while you're going to prevent robbery. So imagine there's also an urgent repair to take care of. Your subtenants would be there to alert you and your landlords on that while you're away.
Yet nevertheless, being the tenant is also having the trust between you and the landlord. If you are a landlord and your tenant breaks the agreement before it ends, how would you feel? Frustrated, right? Now you have to find another tenant, so being able to continue that agreement will avoid any complaints from the landlord too, because don't forget that you are paying for a deposit for that rental property. If you will break the agreement, which means the owner has their right to forfeit your deposit, right?
Yep, that's quite the number of benefits, especially having the extra rental profit. But everything comes with some disadvantages, as nothing in this world is 100% perfect. There are risks and consequences that you should know before deciding to do it to gain some profit. Firstly, the subtenants can steal your possession. Some underhanded individuals who love their new house so much that they aren't in a hurry to move even when the lease agreement is up. So once they're in and comfy, they might even try to bypass you entirely and sign a rental agreement on the property with the landlord when the lease renewal is around.
Yep. Plus, you can't expect that everyone will be on their best behavior when they meet you, right?
Exactly.
Yep, a subtenant can break your agreement and leave you there, so you can take legal action, but sometimes they are way more trouble than they are worth. So usually what we would suggest is to let the potential subtenants know that you're conducting a background check to know their job scope, why they are moving in, did they have any issue with their previous owner. Don't be afraid to ask this question as you are bearing the responsibility as the original tenant. A word of advice is do not try to offer your property on a first come basis just because you're excited to earn the extra profit, but instead you should try to avoid the headache in the future by choosing the best applicants available.
Yep, other than that, we do notice that in the market, too many people still rely on a handshake.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, especially when dealing with friends, which is always a bad idea. Sometimes you may not know that the tenants would have short-term memories regarding the matters like rental payment dates, who pays for the damages, or maybe you're not allowed to bring pets into your apartment block. This might cause a misunderstanding between both parties, so make sure you provide a written contract that is signed by both parties to protect you both.
Yep, if there is any damages caused by the tenant, then it will be the contract that the original tenant has the right to forfeit the deposit or maybe require the subtenant to pay for the damages, right? So bear in mind that the lease is still in your name and your subtenants cause any damages to the property, it will still come around to your security deposit.
Yep, again, if your subtenant does not pay on time, there is no way you could tell your owner that your subtenant is paying late, therefore you're going to pay it late too. Doesn't make sense, right? Since the agreement is between you and the original tenant and the owner, which basically means that you'll have to pay the rent first.
Yep, we do have owners or tenants who ask us whether it's illegal to do sublets. Well, the answer is go back to check with your tenancy agreement. It all goes back to the terms with your tenancy agreement. So if one wish to do subletting, it's the best to get approval from the owner regarding the subletting you are going to do. Most agreements have the clause regarding subletting. If it's not mentioned, you must always ask your landlord whether or not they are willing to allow you to do so. Some may not mind as long as they keep getting their rent and any terms of their agreement with you are not breached. While some owners are somewhat thinking this is unfamiliar because you are earning extra profit from their property. So remember, it is important to get approval in black and white so there is no misunderstanding in the future.
Now, subletting sounds interesting to you, right? Now, how do you actually get started with subletting a property? Like we mentioned just now, the first thing that you have to do is refer back to the terms and conditions in your tenancy agreement. In some cases, there might even be a subletting fee. Therefore, discuss this with your landlord.
Yep, some of you might thinking, can I sublet my apartment without letting my landlord know? Since the agreement allows you to do so or maybe not mention it at all, still you should ask your landlord too. So as you wouldn't want to bring something to go wrong and the landlord kicking you out, like both of you and the subtenant, right?
Yeah, exactly. So some owners may be skeptical about your subletting idea. So the best way to pitch this to your landlord is to maybe pay more deposit or maybe sign the terms where it's a long or short lease or other specific terms and conditions.
After you and your owner agrees, you can finally advertise it on property platforms such as iProperty, Property Guru, iBilling. If you are doing day-by-day rentals, you can advertise on Airbnb.com too. Be sure to include quality photos of places that is not blurry photo for a sofa.
Yeah, exactly. Last but not least, remember to draw up an agreement with the subtenant to help avoid legal arguments in the future. If you don't have a lawyer to draw up that agreement for you, there are other plenty subletting agreements template online that you can use. You also need to decide if you want to take a security deposit from your subtenant, which we suggest to do so, just to be safe, right?
Small reminder not to forget to stamp the agreement for it so it can be legal just to prepare any legal complaints in the future. So in our opinion, we think that subletting is an amazing way to not only cover your part of your rent, but also earn some small profit from it. So let's say today you were to rent a 3-bedroom unit which costs you around like 2,500. If you were rent out the room by room, master bedroom with ensuite bathroom that costs you probably around like 1,300, then renting out the second bedroom around like 1,000 ringgit, then the third bedroom for around like let's say 800, the total will be 3,001 collected, right? So you will have a profit gain of 600 ringgit per month.
But of course, subletting has its own risk and inconvenience, especially when you have to take note of your tenants' behavior. If they always have guests around, or maybe one of them is not so hygienic, all of these can cause conflict not only between you or your subtenants, but also your subtenants as well.
Yeah, we do have numbers of tenants, especially college and university students who rent a whole unit that sublet it out to their schoolmates, where they get to earn extra pocket money. So in the end of the day, it is still depend on you if you're willing to take the risk and if it's a good idea for you.
If you think that you're ready to rent a property, to sub-rent it out, or generally looking for a property to rent and many other property related videos too, check out the video right here, and we've linked it down below in the description below just in case you've missed it.
Yep, we'll see you on the other side. Ciao!
Ciao!